Before we get to the video itself, let me just highlight that this is a behind-the-scenes look at a project that we shot in June, where we tried to create a Wes Anderson-style commercial for an old Russian car. If you haven't seen that video, maybe you should. So this is probably one of the strangest filming setups I've ever had. I'm sitting in the middle of nowhere, somewhere in the Wraca Balkan range. The sun is about to set any moment now behind that mountain, so the lighting is undoubtedly going to change. But I'm here to talk about one of the coolest projects that I've had the opportunity to work on in a long, long time. So a few weeks ago, I reached out to a company in Sofia called Rentalada, where basically you can take these cars for test drives around the country. And I told them about this idea that I wanted to film a commercial about this car, travel around the country, go to places where the car fit in, and see who I could meet along the way, what people stand out, especially those that have a history with this car, an interest in this car, which happen to be a lot of people. But where did this all start? To explain that, we're gonna have to go back 2 weeks. Okay. We've just arrived at the location. This should be our car, which is absolutely gorgeous.
Всички коли се палят тук, тази кола се пали от тук.
Да, това видях.
Така че така. След като вкараме ключа, нали, което мисля, че е най-логичното, даваме на контакт. Много е важно да видите дали има акумулатор на кантар сме, защото тя не се кара много, нали, много, така че сега ще видим какво ще направим. Така, запали. Това е било остатъчно.
Ще, ние не бяхме на неутрално обаче. It's currently 6:30 in the morning and we're just about to leave Sofia, pack up all our stuff, and so now hopefully the car starts because yesterday we had a bit of trouble getting out of town, so we'll see how today goes. Okay. Stop 1, Plovdiv, our ancient city where a friend, Lion Visuals, resides, who we knew would absolutely get a kick out of photographing our car. Next stop, the central Rhodope Mountains, and more specifically Kosovo, nestled in between valleys and mountains. This man passed by and was impressed by the fact that we were driving this car. And he's driving quite an interesting vehicle that's apparently one of only 50 in the country. So, of course, he's gonna be our first story. He's far more agile, quicker, and with a vehicle. So this is fun. I'm never trying to hope it's romantic. I just can't stand it. Hope it's romantic. I'm never trying to hope it's romantic. I just can't stand it. It's 4:45 in the morning and we were supposed to get up a tiny bit earlier to go catch the sunrise at a nearby place called Jenda. We're leaving now, and hopefully we make it. So we've just reached a village called Jenda, which I've been here 4 years ago, but I clearly don't remember it as well as I thought. But we decided to stop here because it's one of these really small, sort of dying out, very isolated villages here in the Rhodope Mountains. So we'll see if there's anything we can film here with the car. То си работа все пак.
Харесвате ли това село? Харесвате ли? Селото ви към харесвате ли?
Разбира се, да, аз съм дошъл преди 4 години, ама го бях забрал наистина и много исках да се върна тук. Там бяхме вчера и така да.
Браво. Водата показва ли вътре?
Водата показва, да, тя си е добре.
Най-важното е и водата да се види.
Сега ще ви кажа. Супер, значи и сега започвам. И съм готов. Много ви благодарим.
Да сте живи и здрави.
Our mountains out of the way, we headed east because more than anything, this car is associated with travels to the sea and vacations during the summer. The stops along the way, the overheating of the engine, the odd problems. We just stopped at a car service because our, I don't even know what the word for this is, our exhaust pipe moved from this point here to this point here, so we're going to raise the car and tie it back up.
Stop the clock of chronological logic within some marginalized systems that can't dodge it, 'cause they're deaf to the voice of an almighty.
Until finally we ended up at the Black Sea.
Spirit in the dark like a fire, revealing the ways that were hidden but not higher. Now we must travel on the wings that will never grow tired. Searching the mysteries of I said, Father, the feathers of my wax wings fall away by the rising of the sun.
After meeting a random group of people at a small fisherman's village, we're now on our way to what should be a lighthouse at the end of this road.
We will stand, we will fall in the face of an eternal call. But those who call on His name in the midst of the pain and the guilt and the shame and the world full of blame and all the bloody stains from the unjust gains, I learn harm and suffer the same. 'Cause we're
Факт, за малко имах. Ще.
Мисля, че трябва да чакаме малко.
Стана опит. Накарам ли?
Да.
in our selfish ways, but if we would turn into the Father's grace, we would never be the same. This is an unseen land of a devastated soul that's prepared in contemplative silence.
It's currently 4:45 in the morning.
Ти е пъкарен ли бе? Без карен ли?
The sun is supposed to rise in half an hour. We are in a bungalow around 20 minutes away from where we're supposed to catch sunrise. This is the third day in a row where we've slept 4 hours, 5 hours. It's the most difficult day because this is where we really, really wanted to sleep. And you wake up in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of the night, and now you have to go and travel somewhere to catch the sunrise. It's a bit difficult to convince yourself to do it right away. But we're up and we're leaving, and hopefully this is the first time in the 3 days that we'll actually see the sunrise, because yesterday we missed it. So here we go. Let's linger on this shot for a second. Anything more perfect than standing next to a 40-year-old car watching the sunrise on an isolated cliff? Of course not. But very quickly after that, we made our way to Bulgaria's famous Stranja region, filled with traditional houses and even more traditional people. Like this grandfather, who asked us to drive him down to a town on the seaside because of a lack of buses.
Да се върнете назад.
няма никакъв проблем, ще ви вземем, но след час ще тръгнем, така че вие ще сте около църквата, ли? And the local mayor and her husband, who of course had a story of their own with their own Lada.
65-та година беше кола на годината.
65-та? Аха, значи това е още по-стара от тази тогава. Тази мисля, че 82-та или
Тя е по-нов модел.
Аха.
А пък Жигулата, тя е на Fiat 124.
Аха.
65-та година.
65. А тя беше тази с двете кръгли фарове само, нали?
Да, да,
окей,
да.
окей.
Кръгли фара. След това изляза за тези модели, но те са хубави.
Хубави са, да.
Малко добре.
Много си е добре. И хубавото на тази кола е, че ние където и да спираме, хора започват да говорят с нас. Перспектива. Едно, две, три, започваме. И супер, готови сме. Много ви благодарим.
За нищо.
Но няма ли да е по-трудно да намерите някой, който пътува към Българи обаче, или?
Веднага за българи става въпрос.
Ага, добре.
Да пътува тук за Кости, за Кондорос, за Граматинко насам.
А то тук има ли автобуси?
Само в сряда.
Само сряда. Автобусите са сряда, ясно.
Само в сряда идвам в 9 часа. 8:30 тръгвам от Царево, в 9:30 тръгвам тук. Ходим в Кости, идвам тук, в 9:30 тръгвам тук за Царево. Ай да, тук е този магазин, по-отвърно.
Да.
Пък тя жена, ай тук, ай това блок. Ще мога да намеря блок от него. Айде всичко, много ви благодаря, момчета.
Много ви. Приятен ден. We just stopped at Driver's Beach, which was hopefully the location where we were going to actually film the car close to an actual beach. The problem is that it's absolutely packed with cars today, which isn't gonna fit in any way because we can't have all of these new modern cars and then have this car driving. So we're gonna have to think of something else or just finish with this part of Bulgaria altogether. But yeah, well, I guess we'll move on. This was the last filling up of methane gas. Methane gas? I think it's methane gas. Before our ascent to Buzluca Peak. We haven't really climbed a mountain yet with this car, so hopefully everything's gonna be okay. We're probably gonna have to stop along the way, but we'll see. We'll see. So this is the final section. Hopefully everything's okay at the top. So we were on our way up to the mountain, but when we were passing one of the turns in between the trees, we saw a couple with a Mercedes that we saw actually on the way to the seaside, a vintage Mercedes. And so now we're gonna see if we can actually go say hi to them because we saw them 2 days ago. And if it's the same people, it's gonna be a big coincidence. So here's the turn.
Bitch, I'm fucking classy, Uber black, back to the city in the backseat, yeah. Boy from the back street, oh, you already know.
We made it up to Buzluca Peak, a place you either love or hate. But in our eyes, and for this car, and with the scenery all around it, it needed to be a part of this video. We're glad the little car made it.
Waking up, I can feel the tired eyes. I can never say enough about the time it flies by, flies by, flies by, flies by, flies by, flies by, flies by.
This might be a bit of a controversial statement, but this is the most beautiful city in all of Bulgaria. This is our old capital, Veliko Trnovo, and this is one of the oldest streets, Gurku, in the town itself. And then it was a question of filming the small details that make the car what it is. But where exactly? We juggled with different ideas, but finally decided upon my own village, Kurmiansko, in central Bulgaria, where we became quite the attraction at the city center, filming the car in the blazing heat. So we've just arrived at one of the train stations in what is known here as Iskirsko Defile. It's a very beautiful part of Bulgaria that's sort of this canyon with really nice cliffs and rolling valleys and trees, and very famously so, a bunch of trains that go through here to Vratsa, which is one of the main destinations here in the region. We've just stopped at the train station Elisena with the goal of getting a short video of one of the conductors or one of the people working in the train station actually. And so now we're just waiting for the next train to be able to get that shot and then head off to the village Elisena. We had been planning to go to Elisena the entire time because it's Emo, my colleague's summer home, and we had rushed through other parts of the country to catch the village's celebration day. However, this year, because of COVID, but also poor planning by having the celebration on a Monday, The hundreds of people we had hoped to see were, of course, absent. But did that ruin our travel in any way? Of course not.
Ще понеделник. Да, бе. А вчера имало ли нещо изобщо? Ни вчера, ни нещо. Еми. Остава.
So, to anyone that wants to spice up any of their travels, that wants to try something new, I highly recommend trying to drive around with a vehicle like this and just looking at the people you meet along the way, the stories that they share with you, and in the situations that you find yourself in when you need help, when you need guidance in terms of where to go or how to get there, and just when you realize that you yourself also need a break every once in a while when you're traveling, not just the car for it to cool down, but yourself as well. Just take some time to admire the scenery and try to process what you're seeing. So I think that's that. This has been one of the most intense 4 days of my life, and I think I would do it again in a heartbeat.